Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Pigskin Addicts here, back again with another video. So, you guys see the title, you see the thumbnail. The Chargers should hire Vic Fangio to come in and be an analyst, right? He doesn't need to be a defensive coordinator. He doesn't even need to be on the sidelines. He really even doesn't need to be at practice, to be honest with you. Vic Fangio should be somewhere in this organization, though. The Chargers need his help, right? Now, this defense, again, I have said many times, right? This defense has talent. They are not going to be the worst defense in the league, but they're not going to be the best defense in the league, right? The reason why they're not going to be the worst is because they have enough talent to not be the worst defense in the league. The reason why they're not going to be the best is because this defensive coaching staff is not good enough. It's not good enough to get the best out of all this talent on defense, right? So this is why I believe the Chargers need to go out and they need to develop some type of relationship with Vic Fangio, right? Again, an analyst role seems like something that he would probably go for, especially at his age. I think he's like 64, 65 years old. He was obviously fired last year with the Broncos. I don't think that he's coaching this year. You know, nobody has really picked him up or, tried to, get him on their staffs. So it seems like he's sitting at home, right? He's sitting at home probably. I don't know if he has grandkids and stuff like that, but, if he does, he's probably sitting at home enjoying time with his family, right? So that's not something that the Chargers, really need to interrupt, right? He can still do that stuff. He can still stay at home and enjoy time with his family if he wants to. All the Chargers need to do really is just send him tape. They need to send him tape so he can evaluate what's going on, right? This scheme that Brandon Staley runs, this is Vic Fangio's scheme. This is obviously not being ran at the level that Vic Fangio runs his scheme, though, right? When Vic Fangio has a talented team like this, they are top of the league, right? So there's stat here, 2011, right? Vic Fangio from 2011 to 2021, right? And this spans over 10 years, right? This is, his first year in San Francisco as the defensive coordinator all the way to when he was the head coach of the Denver Broncos, right? So this spans a long time, right? This just shows how much of a defensive mind that this guy really is. This is very, very hard to do. So in that 10 years, only one time did any of his defenses finish outside the top 15 in yards, and only twice did they finish outside the top 15 in points, right? So all of his defenses are always towards the top of they're either 15, which is right in the middle in yards or up, and 15 right in the middle in points or up, right? This spans 10 years, right? So this spans, again, 49ers all the way to Broncos, right? And obviously those Broncos defenses, they had talent on them when he got there, but they weren't the 49ers defenses. There wasn't just talent at every single position, right? He was working with, guys who really weren't, all that talented, right? But he was getting the best out of them. His scheme works. And he is a guy, he's an older guy, but he has coached in this modern NFL, right? The modern NFL, the pass-happy NFL. He knows how to coach defense in this modern NFL, because the stat that I just gave you, 10 years, going back to 2011, right? This is kind of when, the new NFL started, right? A lot of passing, pass-happy stuff. The Packers won the Super Bowl in 2010, and I remember that was really one of the first real, pass-happy, extra pass-happy offenses that really didn't focus on the run game that won the Super Bowl, right? So coming in 2011, this is a team who, faced that same team that won the Super Bowl. They beat them that year, right? They beat them in the playoffs. So this is a team this is a coach that knows what he's doing. And this scheme is his. This is a scheme that he knows like the back of his hand. Brandon Staley's only 38 years old. He's only 38 years old. Vic Fangio has been coaching for, almost the entire duration that Brandon Staley has been alive. So Vic Fangio has a wealth of knowledge. This is a guy that you need to pull from. The Chargers need to pull from him, right? Nobody has rights to him. He's not coaching for anybody. He's on nobody's staff. He's not an analyst anywhere. He's not doing anything, right? He pull from him, pay him a couple $100,000, whatever, however much it takes. The Chargers need to do this so they are able to get the best out of this scheme. Because as talented as these players are, right, this scheme is going to go dry. And, it's going to be hard. It's going to be very, very hard, especially playoff time, right, to really put together a good game plan that is built around scheme, right? When the scheme is not pulling what it needs to out of the players, right? I talked about it on the live stream that I did the other day, right? JC Jackson, he's not playing man-to-man. He's not playing his strength, right? He's a man-to-man press corner. He's in cover 3, right? He's in cover 3 and he's playing with cushion. They have him playing like a zone corner. That's not what he is, right? He should be in his strength, right? So if you go through the defense, right, all 11 players, most of these guys are not, really in positions to do a whole lot. They're in reactionary positions, especially against the Browns, right? They just were told to react, to go up and make tackles. Guys are running wide open in the middle of this defense, and they're told to just go up and make tackles and react to it, right? As opposed to attacking an offense, right? Making an offense off balance. And this scheme needs to tighten up, especially without Joey Bosa, right? You have to get as much out of this scheme as you can because the talent is not there, right? I mean, obviously not as much talent, right? Joey Bosa does a lot for the talent category, right? Having him and Khalil Mack at the bookends, that does a lot for you, but he's going to be out for a while. So this scheme needs to tighten up. Brandon Staley, Ronaldo Hill, the defensive coaching staff, they have to tighten this up and they have to get more out of this scheme. They need to scheme up better run defenses, right? They need to scheme up more exotic blitzes, right? They need to scheme some stuff up. They need to throw things at teams that they haven't seen before, right? There's no reason to save any of it now, right? You are in the middle of the season. You're going to be in a dogfight, right, for the AFC West. You're going to have to be better on defense. Talent alone is just not going to cut it. The coaching needs to be there. And Brandon Staley just does not have the experience that is required, right, to get as much out of this defense as he possibly can. And this is just a thing that happens with young defensive coaches. Young defensive coaches are not as good as they were when they're coordinators, right? Especially, when you come in, you get a head coaching job, you just weren't as good as you were as a coordinator. You have to be able to scheme some stuff up, right? You have to be able to make adjustments on the fly. All of this stuff really doesn't happen with young defensive head coaches, and Brandon Staley is in that category. So again, Vic Fangio is there. You can pull from him. Brandon Staley cut his teeth under Vic Fangio, in Denver. That's where he got his first opportunity to be a coach. I think he was the outside linebackers coach, I think he was one of the defensive assistants when he first came in. Then he followed Fangio to Chicago, and I think he was the outside linebacker coach there. And then that's when McVay pulled him, to be a defensive coordinator for the Rams. But Brandon Staley, again, he only has 6 years experience in the NFL. Vic Fangio has been coaching in the NFL since the late 80s. So again, you have to go where the knowledge is. Remember when Sean McVay got hired with the Rams, right? He got hired. He was a first-time head coach. I believe he was only 32, 33, right, when he first got hired, to be the Rams head coach. What did he do? He brought in Wade Phillips. Wade Phillips was his defensive coordinator, right? Wade Phillips, obviously, a guy had a lifetime in the NFL, lifetime of experiences, had been a head coach multiple times, been a defensive coordinator at a bunch of different stops, right, including the Chargers. But this is the guy who he was, bouncing his ideas off of, right? This is the guy who was giving him guidance. He was a former head coach, right? He was a guy who knew the NFL, right? It's not just about what he did on the defensive side of the ball, but he knew the NFL. Wade Phillips knew the NFL. Wade Phillips' dad was in the NFL. He coached in the NFL. So he grew up literally in the NFL. He has the knowledge. He has the experiences. This is who Sean McVay looked to when he got hired as a head coach. Now, this is something that needs to happen. This is something that Brandon Staley needs to do. He needs to have somebody who is experienced, who knows what he's doing. And I believe, honestly believe that it would do a lot for this defense. And ultimately, it would do a lot for this team to have a guy to just bounce ideas off of, right? A guy who's been there, who's done it before. A guy who's been a head coach in this league, a guy who's been a defensive coordinator, who's been all the way around, right? He has relationships with a lot of different people, and he has ran his scheme. He has developed this scheme. He's adjusted it, from the run-heavy era all the way to the pass-heavy era. This guy has experience. He has knowledge that you just can't buy anywhere else. So if the Chargers were smart, they would give Vic Fangio a call. Brandon Staley would give Vic Fangio a call and say, hey, man, we need you. However much you want, right? However much you want, 200, 300,000, wherever you're living at, you don't have to leave. You don't have to leave, right? We can send you tape. We can send you practice tape. We can send you game tape. Just, take notes. Let me know what I need to do to change things up. Let me know what I need to do to tighten things up. And that's all you got to do. And the Chargers would benefit heavily from that if they were able to do that. But, they haven't done it as of yet. So hopefully there's still a lot of time in the season. So I hope that they can do that. Hopefully they can humble themselves and do it. But honestly, at this point, I wouldn't count on it. But it is a pipe dream that I have. I think it would help a whole lot. But, hey, it is what it is, right? But that's all I got for this video, guys.